So, weed may be decriminalized and dropped down to a nothing burger. Oh, man, you always want a nothing burger afterwards. I'll tell you that right now.
Gives you
nothing burger with cheese, to be precise.
Yeah, man, hit me up with the cheese. So that's going to be interesting, which will be, I don't know how that people would react here. We've got to ask Blackburn, how would you react to that? What would you think to that? John Rose, how would you react to that? Do you need to find out what the pharmacy say? Who do you think's going to be, if she, we know she's going to win. I mean, she may not, but she probably will. If I had to put money on, if somebody came to me today and say, you got to put absolute money on this, I'm like, my money's going on her.
I think John's going to be able to give her a good run.
I think he's going to surprise. I think he will. I think he'll surprise, but needs to. Tell you what, that interview with Chris and the weed thing, that is put him a little sideways. There's no doubt about that.
Yes,
but
and I guarantee you, Marcia took note of that and will probably try to avoid the subject altogether.
Well, we won't let her because that's all we have you on here for, man. We don't care. We're going to have her on Weed Wednesday.
Weed Wednesday.
So everybody's trying to figure out, okay, so she wins. Like, these are all ifs. Who replaces her? Is it Kane? That's what everybody thinks?
No, I think it'd be Burchett.
No, I think a lot of people think it's going to be Kane. It's going to be
Burchett's
Glenn.
lobbying for it, though.
He is. Everybody's lobbying for it, but Trump can't afford.
And you also have to remember that is it Greg? What's his real name?
Glenn Jacobs.
Yeah.
Glenn literally stepped back so he didn't interfere with Marcia's run because he was going to run for governor until he found out she wanted to, and then he said, I yield.
Remember where they are right now when it comes to the seats in the House, I don't think they want to risk any of that stuff. And
that's a good point.
So, I mean, I've heard...
Well, if he appointed Burchett to the Senate before the special election, would he not then appoint somebody to...
No, I don't know how that works here. Every state's got a different way of doing it. I'm not quite sure, but I think they're looking at him and saying, all right, this doesn't upset the apple cart in the House. And Trump can't afford that right now because he's got a tiebreaker with Vance and he's got a slim lead. And the Senate is more than likely going to stay in control over there with the Republicans because the Democrats have to defend a little bit more. But when it comes to the House, it's going to be close. And yeah, I think they're going to look outside of somebody. Remember what they did with what's her name? Was it Stefanik? They were going to put her in the UN. And then they pulled her back because it was too close. So you put Kane in there. We'll have to ask Kane, how do you feel about weed? You may be the senator. How cool is that, though? 7-foot senator. You were in the movie. You were not one, but two movies called Hear No Evil, See No Evil, whatever it was called.
You go against this bill, he'll put the choke slam on you.
That's right. So that'll be an interesting thing, but I think that's who they're going to go. I don't think they're going to look at all. They're going to look outside of anything that has to do with the House. They can't mess with it.
Yeah, I mean, even though another Republican would probably be elected there in Burchett's area, you wouldn't want to risk it.
No, you can't. Not at this point in time.
Like you said, it is razor thin, man.
You can't at this point in time risk anything. And Burchett is. And look, if your choice is a House member, just in the Congress member or being a senator, senators, they've got more power. They're around longer. They can influence more. Plus, in the way that we live our world now, Congress is more apt to have more swings in extremes. The Senate doesn't. They don't have to worry as much. They're not running every other day. Yeah, they're raising money and they're still doing their stuff, but if they vote against something today and people get upset with them, they're not up for 5 years. You ain't got anything to worry about. You're not worried about that. You're not. And that's why being a senator, I think, would be an interesting thing.
I just wonder how much of an issue it would be because Glenn is very libertarian and does not. He would not vote the Republican. He wouldn't toe the line.
Well, then I know here he's going to be called a liberal like me.
Oh,
probably NPR. So I get called all the time.
You get called what?
NPR. At least twice a day. Listen here, NPR. So that would be interesting. I mean, That would be crazy. And think about this. Think about how nobody could beat us in wrestling. Like if we had the Senate wrestling match, who's going to win? Nobody. He'll crush their souls.
Oh.
Mitch McConnell, you don't like weed? He'll put you in a headlock.
It is pretty funny how he played such a dark character, but he's such a nice guy.
Such a nice guy. He's like, hi. It's crazy. It's crazy. But I think that's, I've heard that's, and as much as and I know Burchett wants it, right? Well, why wouldn't you want it, though, man? It's so much cooler. Being a senator being a House member is pretty cool, There's a difference, though, between being a prince or a princess and being a duke or a duchess. There's something a little bit cooler about that. I mean, for lack of a better term, that's kind of what they see themselves as. But he is very libertarian. I was reading a lot of stuff about him. In between crushing souls with The Undertaker.
Remember The Undertaker's little partner, Paul Bearer?
Yeah.
I love it,
What a
man.
terrible name.
I freaking loved it. Paul Bearer.
Oh, goodness me. This would be awesome.
I remember meeting him at a Motley Crue show one time.
Somebody said Fetterman would be a tough opponent. Now he'd take out Fetterman. This guy's he's 7 foot.
Yeah. I wouldn't mess. I won't mess with anybody.
No, but he's 7 feet tall. He's every bit of that as well.
Yeah.
But he's got more of a libertarian, lean to him. But the popularity of him as well, I think, and he still has conservative ideas, and he's not nuts. That needs to be the number one thing. We need people who are not nuts. Can we find that?
I think we need more George Santoses.
He's a good time. No word on whether or not they're going to pardon him.
Yeah,
Him or what's her name? Ghislaine. She should not be there, by the way. She should not be.
They never explained that.
So if you're in federal detention center and you are a sex offender, you're only in certain areas because you have to be protected. And they moved her to a place where tougher to protect, and also you got an upgrade. I mean, this is club fed.
Go out and play tennis during the
she
yard
played
time.
tennis, do all this stuff. You rewarded her. So, no. Wonder what Glenn would do with that. That's what he would do. Yeah, because whenever I hear Burchett talk about it, it would be an honor. He wants it. I think he'd be a great senator, too. I have no problem. I think he'd be great. The problem is, though, the House.
Do you have more subpoena power as a senator?
You got a lot more power than
So then he could really get us the UFO files.
Oh, absolutely.
I think we got to make this happen.
That's probably another reason why they don't want him there. Anyways, Tulsi's getting him. Did you see Tulsi last week said she's going to get him for everybody? Yeah. When are we going to get him? As soon as we get close to finding out the real truth about Epstein, we're going to find out it was aliens. If Trump is anywhere in there, oh, wait, it's all been redacted. But let's just say he was, and there was some stuff that was not so nice. I guarantee you Trump's going to walk out on stage with a 3-foot green guy with 3 fingers. How are you?
That has a bag of Reese's Pieces in one hand.
Mm-hmm. You guys thinking about that Epstein guy? Probably not. You're thinking about green guy.
I just brought you an alien and you're still asking questions about Epstein.
Yeah, that's great. We already knew there was aliens, but what about that whole thing with the kid toucher guy? What about that? Says in there that I never met him. What about all the pictures? Didn't know him. Never met him. I think, and again, I don't think Trump did anything. I don't even think Clinton did. I don't. But I do think there are a lot of high-powered people that a lot of people wanted to protect. And that's my issue. So we'll see. This will be interesting, though. I am interested to see if who would be the choice. And you're right about him being a more of a libertarian. Did he run in the Libertarian Party at one time? Is there really a Libertarian Party?
The Libertarian Party is a clown show. That's the problem. Libertarian principles, awesome. Libertarian Party, nut jobs. But I think he definitely ran as a Republican for mayor of Knox County because he needed the backing and the funding.
Yeah. But he does have a little bit more.
He's definitely probably one of the more. I would put him right up there with Rand Paul in terms of libertarian philosophy and attempts to execute.
Yeah. I think I'm a Ron Paul guy. I love Ron Paul. I think Ron Paul is, if he was younger, I think he'd have a chance to do something in the series. Rand is a little bit more, he is still got that libertarian link, but he's more Republican than libertarian, Rand.
Well, I think a lot of times Rand has the comfort of being able to vote libertarian principles because he knows his vote is not going to derail something.
Yeah, that's when you know somebody's got the cojones.
Yeah.
About if you're willing to vote on something that you know your vote is tie breaking. It is it. Man, that's a tough thing.
But Rand just has the convenience of being able to be the standalone guy going, I'm not voting for this crazy bill when he knows it's going to pass anyway.
Yeah. Somebody thinks Burchett is a statesman. Yeah, Burchett is. Burchett's a good guy.
Yeah, he told Dan Mandis this morning, he said he would be honored to accept the seat, but he knows going in, he says that he's not very popular, with the money, if you will, behind the Republican Party, because he says he just doesn't go along with with everything.
And that's why
he was one of the guys that helped to oust Speaker before
McCarthy.
Yeah, he was one of the guys that voted to oust McCarthy.
Yeah, and everybody dislikes McCarthy. That job is a thankless job. Everybody's going to hate you. The number one point of that job, though, is raising money. That's one thing. McCarthy was a beast at raising money, because you have to. Not only do you have to try to make one side of your, I got the super, I've got the Massies over here and these people that I got to talk to. And then I've got to go over here to the Freedom Caucus. And then I've just got the old styly Republicans. And you've also got to go talk to all the donors, and you have to raise money. And then you have to decide, where are we going to put this money? It is a thankless job. And every one of them that leaves, we talk about that Boehner. Remember when he left? And what did Boehner do? Went to the weed people. Started going out there.
Wants to legalize the pot.
Wants to legalize the pot. Ryan left. It's a thankless job. It's always been a thankless job, because you're never going to make everybody happy. When it's not a thankless job is when you have a 20 or 30 seat majority, and if a few people are pissed off, it doesn't matter. It doesn't. But you raise more money now than you do back then, because they don't feel the need to throw money at you if they know you're going to win stuff. Coming up, I'll talk a little about what's going on in D.C. Trump has decided he's got to take over everything. He's got to put out the cops and whatnot.
There's a new sheriff in town.
Could you see Trump riding around on a horse?
Just keep watching. There'll be dire wolves on the streets of D.C.
Absolutely. Get those things.
Oh, my gosh. He's like Dennis Weaver riding on a horse.
He would. Don't give him an idea. We've got to stop that. This would be great for me. We could AI it. It'll be fantastic. And anywhere I go, I want to go, instead of here comes the president, I want wah, 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 wah. It's the Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 99.7.
One person dead, 2 people missing, dozens and dozens of first responders on the scene of that steel plant explosion in Pennsylvania. This story and more coming up at 2:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Man, that's a big explosion.
Yeah.
That's a big old
explosion.
Big. Luckily, though, only one person dead, considering how big it was.
Yeah.
I mean, when you see some of those pictures, it was crazy. Like, just nuts how big some of that stuff is. And I'm always amazed that there isn't more people killed in a situation like that. I don't know if they were on lunch, or if maybe just because of, well, for a lack of a better term, automation, that there's not that many people in the building. Either way, only a few were injured. This is a podcast. I want to make sure I have all the beeps here. She loses her mind halfway through. It's a podcast. I think her name is Welch, and we've talked about them before. It started out, she's 2 Oklahoma white women. I'm going to say that because they always talk about white people. Uber progressive. And it was just one of those things where it was called I've Had Enough. And it started out as kind of something fun, two women who are just gabbing, who are well-to-do. Next thing you know, they're uber progressive, and they say crazy things like this.
I've had it with white people that triple trumped.
Yeah.
that have the nerve and the audacity to walk into a Mexican restaurant, a Chinese restaurant, an Indian restaurant, go to perhaps their gay hairdresser. I don't think you should be able to enjoy anything but Cracker Barrel.
First of all,
Wow.
I know. Oh, she gets way worse. The gay hairdresser? Well, that's not a stereotype,
No.
right? Like,
Not at
wow.
all.
Yes, my buddy Brian, he's a hairdresser. He's anything but gay. And let me tell you something. Woo-wee, does he pull the ladies. That being said, his wife was not thrilled by that. Side note, though, that was pretty, so you went off on the white. She's as white as it gets. You can't get more whitey than this, saying this. She's not done, though. She doesn't want us to go anywhere but the Cracker Barrel. I got to be honest. I've seen a lot of reviews lately because the Cracker Barrel's redone itself. Have you seen that?
I saw something on that last night, a little blurb on the news. They were modernizing.
It's very sterile and boring. And I saw this guy, this brother. He's like, look, I got to be honest with you. Maybe some of us a little bit racist, but it was a lot of fun. Now, it's anything but.
And if you want to triple Trump and you want to browbeat DEI and you want to browbeat gay people and you want to browbeat black people as you've been doing for 400 years, and you want to browbeat this generation of immigrants that come over here and open up businesses earnestly, pay their taxes, you want to demonize them
Here
and
she
call
goes.
them rapists and felons and all this shit when the felon is the teeny weeny mushroom piece of shit, Kankle's McTaco tits at the top of the ticket.
Woo! Man, I'll tell you
She's
what.
got a lot of food references, doesn't she?
Well, that's because she wants nobody that is white and voted for Trump. I'm unsure about if you are black or Hispanic and you voted for Trump, if you will be allowed to go anywhere but Cracker Barrel.
Right.
Because I think it's fair to know she's not done.
I have had it from top to bottom.
Top to
White
bottom.
people that triple Trump should be banned, boycotted from enjoying the best thing that America has to offer, which is multiculturalism. Get your fat asses out of the Mexican restaurant. Get your fat asses over to Cracker Barrel because nobody wants to see your f***ing smug ass, teeny weeny, pink arm, big gut around. Nobody wants to see that. No one.
Wow.
Is
Anger
it
issues.
just Cracker Barrel, or can I go to Waffle House too?
No, Waffle House is universal.
Okay, then I'm
to the south. And, so that's she's mostly pointing at this direction. She's from Tulsa, by the way. Just let you know that, Ken.
Oh, well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So that is insane. That is absolutely insane. And she has got their podcast has exploded. And they just sit around and talk about how horrible Trump is. What are you guys going to do when Trump's gone? Out of curiosity. But what the hell are you talking about? Oh, you can't go have Mexican food. And diversity, by the way, is great if it's not forced. If it's forced, it's not good. And there's a difference between, let's be diverse and we have this, this culture. No. The culture is, this is America. You've come here, legal or illegal, love it or get the blank out of here. What makes America the beacon on the hill is the fact that you can come here and have opportunities. That's what makes America. Love America or leave it. Yes, sir.
I just wanted to let you know, Matt came in and just told me Glenn Jacobs is going to be on his show today.
Oh, is he? Well, they're very, very braggadocious, isn't it? One time we tasked Bell, like, hey, get Burchett on the phone. He's like, yeah, got him. And then we called and he's like, oh, he's on a plane. I'm like, that was good. Solid. I'll give you a raise.
Hey, all I can do is
Get the Undertaker on the phone. Is he still alive?
I don't know.
I believe so.
Okay.
All I can do is schedule the appointment. I can't make him, make the phone call.
You got to go through Paul Bear.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Paul Bear. Little guy.
Hey, little fella.
Nice. We'll have more on this lady and her wonderful thing. I've had enough is what it's called. So if you guys want to go check it out, it's interesting, but this is flying around everywhere. And the progressives are very excited. Oh, you should never be able to eat food. That's the dumbest thing in the world because you voted for Trump. Mexican food's great. Mexican food's awesome. I live for Mexican food.
Oh, it's hot. Yes, absolutely.
I miss my little taqueria by my house where the English was very broken, like my grandpa. Hello, Shad. Hi, Grandpa. Say Shad.
Yeah. Mexican food is different in the Southwest.
It is different.
And a lot of it is authentic Mexican food.
It's real. Like The place where we used to get our burritos, which weighed like 12 pounds, this Mexican, this place, I don't know what was in the vat. It was like you got home and it was. I know they ate it and they made the hot sauce. So it was like, you like it, but you hurt your face. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, sounds good. Sign me up. Sign me up. Coming up, we're going to visit the Pooter in Russia. No, not so much, but maybe Alaska on Friday. We'll talk a little bit about that. Trump takes over D.C., among other things. Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997. Trump's taking over D.C. Who's excited for that? By the way, let's hear some of the things Trump has said about D.C. Over the last several weeks.
The capital of the United States of America, Washington, D.C., we will clean it up, renovate it, rebuild our capital cities so that it will be an absolute beacon of beauty and peace and prosperity and no longer be the crime capital virtually of the world. You know, being in real estate, I always kept clean properties. I like clean, well-run, tippy-top, we say. Tippy-top. We want them to be tippy-top. Well, our capital is the opposite of tippy-top. It's a house. Horrible. It's horrible.
It's tippy-top, kids. It's tippy-top. It's a house. So he's taking it over. What does that mean? I don't know. We're going to find out how this plays itself out. I do know this. This is the mayor, Bowser. Like Sha-na-na? No, but might as well have been in Sha-na-na. She's not thrilled by this, but she saw it coming.
The Home Rule Charter requires the mayor to provide the services of MPD during special conditions of an emergency, and we will follow the law. Though there's a question about the subjectivity of that declaration. In fact, the chief has already provided a high-level liaison and point of contact with the federal government and made those initial contacts.
Great. Is it going to happen to other cities? I saw Matt tweeted out something earlier, and I even saw a couple of people say, D.C.'s an odd thing, right? It's not a city. It's not a state. It's this weird. You know what it was? It was meant for it to be a place where you come and work for a little bit and then you go back to your state. That's what it was meant for. It wasn't meant for people to live. Think of it as a strip mall.
It was also meant to be neutral ground where all the states could get together and nobody was fighting over, you're on my territory.
Yeah, and it was a place, too, where when diplomats and leaders from around the world would come, the White House at the time was this beautiful, amazing thing. It was supposed to be, kind of stuff. I don't really think that a lot of us realize that they built some really big castles and things for palaces for them. But that's what it was meant to be. It was the people's house. I mean, go look at Andrew Jackson after he won. He invited everybody over to the people's house. And they wouldn't leave. And what I mean, everybody who came to the inauguration got to go to the people's house. And then he's like, come over to my house. We'll go over here. And then he had to put everything out on the lawn of the White House, the beer and stuff, and told them to go out there because they wouldn't leave. But it is a different thing. Now, do I want to see him do this in L.A.? No. New York? Absolutely not. Sorry. I don't want the federal government taking over because it's two different things, and I don't want them taking over our cities. That's not what we are. It's not what we're about. D.C.'s an odd thing, and it also goes back to you can arrest everybody you want, but if you don't have people that are going to actually say, I'm going to go through with the case, then what do you have? Because that's one of the big issues here for a lot of these places. The mayors, the DAs, all over in a lot of these cities, they refuse to do their jobs. They say, well, we don't want this, or we don't want that, or we want this kind of special, situation where nobody has cash bail, right? You can get out. Okay. In some cases, I think our bail is punitive. I think it's ridiculous. In other cases, no, that person shouldn't be let out. But common sense eludes everybody in these kind of things. And now we've got this. Now we've got Trump saying, all right, I got to take everything over.
This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back.
Taking it back. I didn't know it was anywhere. Yeah, take it
I'm
back.
announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse.
Is there something worse than squalor? Do you guys know that? Anything worse than squalor?
I've lived in a few towns like that.
What's the worst town you've lived in?
Lindsay, Oklahoma.
Why? What was that about?
Just was. No, actually, it wasn't Lindsay. It had to have been Sulphur, Oklahoma. And that's because it smells like sulfur.
Oh, does it?
Yes.
It's a different.
The water.
Do you ever
Not
live
good.
anywhere?
Not good.
Not good. Not good. Do you ever live anywhere where it was you were nervous to do stuff or leave something somewhere?
Well, when I lived in downtown Tulsa, yes. Tulsa, for a mid-sized city, can be a very, very violent city.
Oh, it can.
Back in the day,
and
it
Albuquerque
was.
too. I mean, there's a joke. Everybody calls it
Albuquerque.
Albuquerque for a reason. Certain parts of Albuquerque are not good.
No, they're not.
No, every big city has an area.
They've got them.
Yeah, every
Yeah,
big
but
city.
probably, I would have to say where I actually lived at the time, my wife and I, whenever we were, dating and then, first married, downtown Tulsa could be a bold adventure.
A bold adventure. I've lived in some places that were shady. We were poor growing up. We lived in some shady areas. I'm not gonna lie to you on that. And some shady, serious kind of shady areas. But when you committed a crime back in the day, or like even now they're talking about, what did they say, that violent crime is down 25%. That may be true, but crime itself across the board just isn't being reported anymore. And if it's not reported, does it mean it doesn't happen?
Right.
No, I mean, look at Oakland and all. You get something stolen, you're not calling the police at this point in time. They're not going to show up for several hours. And what are they going to do? They're going to tell you, what do you want us to do about it? You got your laptop stolen, and they're going to tell you shouldn't leave it in the back.
Yeah.
And you're going to be like, I was in the drive-thru. It's little things. There's some of these areas, but even if you catch somebody who's done horrible things, the cops are still doing the paperwork as those guys are walking out of jail. So if you don't have a DA who's willing to prosecute and a mayor that's willing to back them up, I don't care how many people you arrest. They're just going to let them all out. There's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. DC's got their problems. They've had problems for a while. I've heard about that forever with DC. Somebody said Muscoy, California. Yes, Walter White is from Albuquerque.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I do have a story. I mean, my wife, whenever we first moved to Albuquerque, we had just this little one bedroom apartment. And we had just found out she was pregnant. I worked afternoon, nights. She calls me one night, and I can hear a bunch of commotion behind her. I thought she was outside, but she was actually in our apartment. There were about 15 to 20 people out fighting outside of our apartment. And she said there's a lot of them are wearing bandanas.
Oh.
And I said, okay. I said, have you called police? And she said, yes, I've called police. I'm just kind of freaked out. And this is after I had gone downstairs a couple of times and banged on our neighbor's door to tell him to pipe down. Turns out there was quite a gang presence there in that apartment.
It's how long did you guys stay there?
We left probably about a month. By a month later, we had found a house and we were out of there.
You got to get out of there. You got to.
Yeah, and I mean, I told the people who were running it. And then a month later, there was a huge drug bust there, and I mean, they rounded up a lot of purported, gang members. That was a rough place, man.
It should all have been legal.
Well, yeah, then we don't have to worry about it. What about you, Belle? Have you ever lived somewhere that's like so dangerous?
Aurora, Colorado.
Where?
Right outside of Denver. Aurora.
Oh,
Yeah. It was a dump.
yeah. Well, that's where the first. Isn't that the first place we heard about the Tren de Agua? Was Aurora?
I think so.
Those
I think that
apartments?
was,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, some places are So it's funny because cities are big, and some cities like St. Louis has some nice parts, and there's East St. Louis. You don't go there. You don't. And they'll tell you if you go to New Orleans, stay out here stay in the quarter. If you start going to certain areas, it ain't good. Right? And you've got to watch it. But he's going to do what he does there. That's great. I don't know what it's going to do because then you're also running into situations where you got cops now working with FBI. Would you say ATF as well?
Oh, all of them. DEA, ATF.
Yeah. And I don't know how that's going to work. But if it expands from there, no, I don't want troops on the street. That is not a look that I want any part of. I'm already worried about the militarization of local law enforcement. Hey, that crew over there in San Diego or Seattle has a tank. Why can't we have a tank? You don't need a tank. So what the real issue is, though, find DAs and put DAs in place that are going to be strong on crime, not ridiculous, but strong.
Sounds like Barney Fife going to Andy going, why don't we have any submachine guns?
Yeah, no doubt.
Barn, put the key back by the jail. Remember, they kept the key right
by the jail. What was the drunk guy called?
Otis Campbell.
Otis, that's right, Otis.
Only married guy on the show.
Yeah, that's right.
Come on in. His wife. She didn't really seem to care that he was an alcoholic. What was that all about? Come on. You guys got to do better.
Well, she cared. He just didn't care that she cared.
Yeah, no doubt. That was it. And the haircut guy, what was his name too?
Floyd.
Floyd, right?
Yeah, Floyd.
Floyd the barber.
Lawson.
Aurora. Belkay. I lived in Aurora, says somebody.
My sympathies.
So, wait, hold on. So I just turned you on and you're already pissing me off. I guess just let crime run rampant in D.C., right, Mr. Liberal? It's not even what I said.
No, it's exactly what you said.
It's not even close to what I said.
That's precisely what you said. You should just give it over to the criminals and the gangs, and let's just stop all. We just go into a dictatorship. That's exactly what you said.
So, just crazy.
Ray just loves being black or white.
He does. Well, you know what? If it's on your streets, I bet you wouldn't be thrilled by it. And I tell you this, how many Republicans out there who and libertarians, people like, I don't know if I really want, more militarization of our police, but then this is okay. And again, D.C. is a different thing because Trump has a different power over D.C., but do I want this in Chicago? No, nor should you want this. What you should want and what we should push for is DAs that are going to prosecute and hold people accountable for their actions, rather than if you go and arrest 100 people and you decide to release 100 people on their own recognizance, no matter what they do outside of murder, that's not going to get anything done. They're just going to go out and reoffend as much as possible. Coming up, we got the welcome mat. I saw him wandering around here. He'll be in here straight ahead. Chad Benson, Super Talk 997. Hey, you tweeted out something earlier, and I agreed with it. D.C. is a special case when it comes to, what's going on in crime there, but I don't want them rolling around on the streets.
No,
Did you retweet
different.
it?
That's
no,
different.
I was going to, because so that way everybody can be mad at
Doesn't
me.
count if you didn't retweet it.
Oh, come on, retweet it.
I'm going to.
Why don't you retweet it?
I'm going to, man.
You promise?
I promise.
Will you look
I
for my drink while you do it?
Didn't I,
look
Matt?
for
I retweeted it.
Oh, yeah, Bell retweeted it. Yeah, I mean, and we'll go over it. I don't know if you've gone over it. I'll go over it. I mean, if it's been merit that goes over. You go over it twice. That's okay. D.C. is just a special entity. I mean, most people don't know that Washington, D.C., until the year of my birth, 1973, was controlled by 3 people who were directly appointed by the President of the United States. It was controlled by the President of the United States.
Because it was never meant to be a place that people live. It was meant to be, I said it's a strip mall for the wealthy and the politics.
Right. And so now that people live there, they said, okay, you can have a certain level of autonomy or local control, but we're going to keep, the ability to take any of that back if we want to. Plus, if you live in a state, who calls up the National Guard? The governor.
The governor. They don't
in
have a
Washington,
governor.
D.C., it's the president.
Yeah.
And so he gets to do this. But you don't get to do it in San Francisco. Those people have to deal with what they've elected.
And I've been saying this. You can have as many people out there who are arresting people, but if you give them over to the DA and the DA says cut them loose, It doesn't matter.
Well, because that is a part of the judicial system that's where it breaks down,
That's
right?
where it
It can
breaks
break down anywhere along the chain. And if that's the case, these people have to reap what they sow until such time as they stand up and say, no, we hate this.
And that's what San Francisco finally said. Chesa Bodine, who was there, that we're recalling you. You're letting everybody out. Crime's running rampant. People are doing horrible things. They recalled him. They got somebody's like, look, we're not going to, somebody's got, a warrant in another county for missing child payments. We're not going to keep them in jail for a year and a half. We'll let them out. But if you kill somebody,
you got to go to jail.
You're going to jail, and we're going to prosecute you.
Well, and I do think that Trump, I will say this, I do think Trump said it the right way today, that if we want to do anything federally about cashless bail, you got to go to Congress. You got to get Congress to pass something. Now, I don't know that I would necessarily agree taking that ability away from the states, but that's the way to do it if you're going to do it. I don't know that I agree with that. I think these liberal states have to live with what they bring to themselves to the point that they break. And it's going to be bad for a lot of people in California. It's going to be bad for a lot of people in some of these liberal.
And when they finally breaks, you see what they're doing in places where, like, all right, we can't have this anymore. They got rid of Gascon down in L.A.
Right.
They get rid of him because they're like, no, this is doesn't matter if you arrest 1 million people. If you tell them all get out of jail, we don't care. Then what are you doing? You're wasting the cops' time at that point in time.
Well, and believe it or not, the criminals are dumb, but they're not so dumb that they don't realize it.
Yeah.
That, if I steal, out in California, the whole, what was it, $750?
It was like $990. They were taking in the calculator.
Right. They're bringing the calculator into where they're going to steal something, making sure that they're under the limit where they can just walk right out of jail.
Yeah. And then as they're filling out the paperwork, there goes the guy. Like, bye. Hey, thanks for coming. It has to be a two-pronged attack, and you've got to have your DA and your mayor and the city council behind you. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Hey, I was listening to you earlier today.
Yeah.
You know who I got on the show today?
I heard. You got Kane on the show.
I got Glenn Jacobs on the show.
That's going to be
coming
awesome.
by. I'm going to say you're going to be the next senator.
I think he is.
I feel bad for John Rose. I'm going to talk about this, too. I feel bad that we're talking this way a year out. But, what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do, John?
If somebody said to you, you got to bet all your money, who you choosing?
I'm thankful that the election's not happening today.
That's it.
That's what I will say.
Fantastic.
And then I'll bet on Marshall.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a Monday with Matt. Here's straight ahead later.